Well, my name Black Rasta, and this is the Black Pot, aka Kukushunamo, where we speak truth to power. My brother, my sister, in this segment we don't criticize, but if we must criticize, just one condition: to build and not to destroy. Remember, we are in the service of God and country. This is in the service of God and country. My brother, my sister, this is the Black Pot, aka Kukushunamo, and today we have a number of issues I would like us to look at. My brother, my sister, my brother, my sister, this is interesting, and I need you to come along and we'll do this together. This is the African perspective of our wranglings on our continent. And this is supposed to build Africa. This is supposed to build Ghana. This is supposed to build our people. No two ways about them thing them, man. And I'm most excited to be with you. My brother, my sister, the very first thing I would like to look at today is taken from My Joy Online. And it says, lighter scenes in Parliament. How K.T. Hammond blinded Mawuena Egbeta Zanato amused. And I read, Mawuena Tahir Hammond is the member of parliament for the Adansi Asokwa constituency in the Ashanti region. Now, amongst his peers and in the public domain, he is popularly called KT Hammond. Typically, the NPP lawmaker is known for his controversial remarks and strongly worded opinions, which often set tongues wagging on social media. But despite being widely perceived as a no-nonsense personality, it appears the lawmaker and lawyer politician also has a lighter side outside his serious-minded posturing. On Wednesday, February 15, this came to bear when he walked stiffly, yes, from behind to use his palm to cover the eyes of former Energy Minister Dr. Mawuena Egbeta, who was busily addressing a press conference on the nature of roads in his constituency. Dr. Egbeta did not see him coming in, and Dr. Egbeta did not see it coming. In an excerpt captured by Joy News' parliamentary correspondent, Kweku Asante, the former energy minister in the erstwhile Mahama administration appeared bemused by the act, turning around to see who could have dared to interrupt him like that on live TV. Here was KT Hammond running away after executing his mischief. Now the gesture got the NDC lawmaker laughing as he turned to watch KT Hammond fleeing the scene after implementing his agenda. But he was not the only one who laughed it off. MP for Clotet Colley, Dr. Zaneto Ajiman Rollins, who earlier saw KT Hammond jetting off to obstruct Dr. Mawuena Egbeta, giggled as well. Now, KT Hammond, as has been described in this write-up, appears to be a very serious-minded person, and he normally is seen as somebody who is a serious person. Strong words sometimes he uses when he's making his opinions, and of course a lot of people have not been comfortable with this. The last big controversial thing he said was that the youth in Ghana cannot rule themselves because they have coconut heads. In fact, he did not make an exception. He said the youth in Ghana, probably including his own children, and including all those people who come under the banner of youth. A smart politician will not do this. I have said it time and again. Number one, The youth form the majority, and politics is a game of numbers. Now, if you refer to the youth as coconut heads, and in your own constituency, those who voted you into power, 75% of them or even more are the youth. It means your constituency has nothing but coconut heads. Now, if I were a member of the constituency of KT Hammond, I will feel insulted, especially if I am part of the youth. That's what he said. The arrogant lawmaker never came out to apologize. And Ghanaians feel it's okay. After all, this is a country that is so interested in what is known as breaking news. We pick up the breaking news, and that's it. We forget everything. We are looking for the next breaking news every time. We never follow up on the breaking news. We never want to see the final stages of whatever news that we break. So we are a nation that is always in the offing. We are never concluded. That is very, very sad. KT Hammond referred to the youth of Ghana as coconut-headed youth. They have no common sense to rule themselves. That was what he said, and it's documented. And this is a lawmaker. I expected that the Parliament of Ghana at least would have called him to normalcy. At least tell him that, listen, you cannot draw a blanket statement like that. The youth of Ghana find themselves in so many profitable ventures. Some of them are very, very studious. A lot of them are making us proud along the length and breadth of the nation and even globally. You cannot blanketedly refer to all the youth of Ghana as coconut heads. Of course, we have some gray heads that are worse than coconut heads. KT Hammond, who wants to be seen as a very serious-minded politician, did not see that it's a game of numbers, and you'll be shocked that next election, the same coconut heads would vote this man into power. You see where the country is going. We do not seem to know what we want. We forget too soon. We are short-circuited in our brains. We have very, very short memories. We don't respect history. When some countries are busily making amends and trying to make their countries tick and talk using history, they say once beaten, twice shy. It's all about history. They say experience is the best teacher. But in our country, no. These sayings do not seem to work. There is nothing like experience is the best teacher. No. We forget too soon all the experiences we go through. And next election, we are looking for the person who will bring us the brightly colored carrots. Once we get these carrots, we are okay to gravitate towards this person. In no time, we are referred to as coconut heads. Yes, the coconut heads that we are. How on earth would an MP be seriously delivering and talking about his constituency's bad roads? In the tape, he's even talking about taking them to court. Some contractors who are not doing their work in building the roads in his constituency. And another MP who does not care to know exactly what is going on, how serious this issue is, walks behind him on tiptoes, on live TV. He stretches his palms and covers the eyes of this MP, delivering in a live TV coverage. Can you call this politician a serious politician? They do not seem to care about how the roads are bad in Ghana. They don't even care how many of us die from road accidents. I'm not sure that they even care about how many of us die in the hospitals that they never built. At the end of the day, it is the people who suffer. The people that you were voted in to come and support and help. You end up playing the flippant with some of these very serious issues. I am hurt and sad a man can come out and tell the whole Ghana that all Ghanaian youth are coconut-headed, and the youth are not on the streets demonstrating, and the youth are not ready to come out and call the bluff of this dirty politician, I am sad that it might get worse. Blindfolding an MP in a live TV coverage is only the tip of the iceberg. To God be the glory. I am so ashamed. Now the people in the constituency of KT Hammond should sit back, especially the youth, and know that his constituency is the capital of coconut heads, youth. Anytime we are looking for youth with coconut heads, we will start with KT Hammond's Asokwa constituency. Until you guys come out and demonstrate against this loose cannon, until you guys come out and speak against this wanton disrespect, the visa of which is just age and nothing more. Hallelujah. I'll leave it here. Now, still talking about Parliament and talking about MPs. Yesterday, I made a delivery about Sam George. And, well, it looks like he wasn't very, very happy with the delivery that I made. So I'm going to make that delivery again. Hear me now. I started my delivery yesterday by saying that, listen, Sam George is a friend of this house. He's a friend of journalists. He's a gentleman that so many people respect in this country, especially the youth with coconut heads. All of us with coconut heads, we respect Sam George. We know how far Sam George came. In fact, he was able to remove Pram Mugabe, and he got into power. That alone was enough for us to jubilate. Now, it came to a time, my brother, my sister, that anybody who went to Pram only had one name. He had a Sarah and he had the Mensa in the air. He had become Pram Mugabe, taking over the whole area. Yet there was little development in the area. I love Pram. Every time I have some small time to while away, I want to find myself in Pram. I like to get so close to the sea. I have told the history of Pram time and again. You understand? So, anything Pram is extra important to me. That does not mean other parts of Ghana are not important to me. And you can bear testimony to that. Honorable Sam George has picked up some very serious fights. Fights that represent me. Fights that represent the youth. Fights that are so important to the very fiber of livelihood of the youth in this country. I've met him a number of times. In fact, even whilst I was at Multimedia, I met him and I shook his hands. At a time that they were in opposition, and even after when they came into power, I had almost admired the gentleman. But, of course, the serviceable child is the one that breaks the pot. I like African proverbs. If you are lazy and you do not want to be serviceable, you will never break a pot. But the child that is always at the riverside, fetching water in a pot, would be that child that will break the pot. My brother, my sister, and my submission yesterday, I said I was going to treat it with kids' gloves because I know the pedigree of Honorable Sam George. There's no day I will disrespect Sam George, no. Now the point I made, and I'm going to be playing the tape pretty soon. Sam George granted an interview, and in that interview, he said that when politicians are seen to be corrupt, which is true, it is all because the people are corrupt themselves. When it comes to elections, they would want to be given some bribe so that they can vote for you. Now I was asking the question, is it an endorsement of corruption? So if people are corrupt, do we join them in the corruption all because we want power? Or should we stand aside and say that, hey, I know that this is a dirty system that is always corrupt and wants people to give bribe before they are voted. I will not be part of it, even if it means that I lose my seat or I don't get it at all. Simple. Now, Sam George made it clear that even in the media, you can have the most newsy. In other words, your content could be so important for the people. And it will never ever be covered and published, all because you did not give solid to journalists. And solid is a nice way of saying bribe. In fact, same way, in the same media, DJs will not play your music no matter how heavenly it sounds. All because you have not given them what? Payola. That's bribery. So does it mean that as a musician, if I want my music heard, I must pay bribes, whether I believe in bribes or not? No, that is not how we want the nation to go. You understand? Maybe I should have sat down with, what's his name? Honorable Sam George. And then I will bring my opinion to him. But I didn't. Because there are so many other people, my brother, my sister, who are in power because they paid bribe. So it will address all of them. It is common knowledge in Ghana that before you become a politician and win power, you must be ready to pay bribe, true or false. Presidential candidates are paying bribe. Presidential candidates are going around doing ahunto programs, yet their own workers are not being paid. Some of them 17 months they have not been paid, yet you are doing ahunto. You are ahuntoing all over the place because you want to be a presidential candidate. We have seen other people who want to be presidential candidates, my brother, my sister. And all of a sudden they have become philanthropists. They are going around giving laptops, doling out money to people. I see that as bribery. Why were you not doing it until you needed the mandate of the people? Sam George is decrying this. And I made a point very simple. If Sam George really agrees that he paid bribe, even though some other people paid more than him to get into power, then it's time for him to resign and say that, listen, upon further reflection, I have decided to relinquish my power and my post as MP, even though a lot of people endorse me and know that I am the best MP who has ever been at Pram. But principle is principle. I paid bribes to people. And on this note, I want to step down, but I'm going to bounce back and stand on a bribe-free election and see whether you vote me back or not. Hey, Sam George would go into the Guinness Book of Records. Sam George will be seen as the smartest bribe-free politician we have had in contemporary times. Do you agree with me or not? Imagine Sam George coming out to say, hey, the same interview that he granted, I paid some people bribes, even though other people paid more. Now, so many Ghanaians know that this is me. Now, this was what I wanted to prove, even though it was on a false foot. In other words, wrong note. In other words, false step. Hey, I have been able to prove to Ghanaians that, yes, the youth can do it. I am doing it. But because I paid bribes, I am stepping down. Hey, BBC will be here. CNN will be here. My own 3FM will be there. And I will become the campaign manager of Honorable Sam George if he allows me. We will break our back and necks to prove to Ghanaians that there are elections that can be won without paying bribes. Do you understand? Sam George has been bold to come out and say, this is what is happening. Of course, in the grapevine, we have heard some of these things. And every politician who got into power by paying bribe and calling it the in thing or the norm, you should bow down your heads in shame. Somebody should be able to come out and say that, yes, this is what is happening in our country, but it is wrong. Let alone say that, okay, politicians are corrupt because the electorate is corrupt, and because the people are also corrupt, they have corruption in their DNA. It's almost sounding like an endorsement right there of corruption. All right. So we've spoken about Sam George. Let's check the audio. What Sam George really said. Listen. This is
3FM.
You know, we're living in a political bubble where we blame politicians for being corrupt. But politicians are corrupt because of the people that we lead. Because the Ghanaian people are innately corrupt. The average Ghanaian is extremely corrupt and has absolutely lost their moral fiber. And politicians are a reflection, a microcosm of the larger community, a reflection of the community and the people that we lead. So if you are, for example, a party executive who's sworn an oath to do party work, and part of your party work is to elect a leader for your party in your constituency, but you are deciding to give a bill to a person who is competent to pay before you would elect him, he would have to find the money. He doesn't have the money, so he'll go to business interest and go and take the money from a businessman and come and pay to get elected. But when he gets elected and he's put in an executive position as a minister or a deputy minister and has to award a contract, don't forget that the business interest to give him the money is not Father Christmas. Even Santa Claus, you have to perform, be a good boy before he will give you a gift. So you do something before you get it. So that person gave you money for a reason. He's going to come back and come and take it in an inflated contract. And then you turn around and say that that minister is corrupt. Why is he corrupt? He's not corrupt. He's only paying for the money he advanced to you. It's a loan he gave to you. He's paying it back using your taxes. So the problem of our country is the fact that every facet of our life is saddled with corruption, even outside of politics. Because your DJs, I'm not saying multimedia, but DJs across board. Somebody is an up-and-coming artist, that song, play Payola. If you don't pay Payola, they won't play your song. You go to a hospital, you have to go and get your file. The person is sick and dying, give the person his file. Unless you put 5 CD or 10 CD in the thing, your file will not come out. You go to a parking lot, you want to park, security man who is paid to do his job. Unless you give him 2 CDs, you won't get a place to park. Imagine that person is now a minister.
So did you have to do that to also get elected?
Are you asking me if I've ever paid money to people when I'm going to get elected?
In fact, obviously, that's what you're trying to say. I mean, you're justifying it.
No, Nanka. How did you think I didn't? You think I'll sit here and tell you I didn't pay? I paid. How did you think I didn't? You think I'll sit here and tell you I didn't pay? How did you think I did? How did you think I didn't? You think I'll sit here and tell you I didn't pay? I paid. They paid more than me, but I paid. I paid less than them, but still I won.
How much did you pay?
Well, be different. There are those who get 100 CDs, those who get 200 CDs, those who get 500 CDs. It's level by level. Monkeys play by sizes. I wouldn't lie about it.
I see.
Because it's the reality.
Okay.
How did you think I didn't? You think I'll sit here and tell you I didn't pay? How did you think I didn't? You think I'll sit here and tell you I didn't pay? How did you think I didn't? You think how did you think I didn't? You think I'll sit here and tell you I didn't pay? I paid. They paid more than me, but I paid. I paid less than them, but still I won.
How much did you pay?
Well, be different. There are those who get 100 CDs, those who get 200 CDs, those who get 500 CDs. It's level by level. Monkeys play by sizes. I wouldn't lie about it.
I see.
Because it's the reality.
Okay. This is 3FM.
Well, my name Black Rasta. This is the Black Pot, aka Coco Show. Now you heard it clearly. It sounded more like an endorsement of corruption. That's what I see from afar. I think that Sam George will come out and clarify it later. The kind of person that I know he will come out. It didn't come out probably the way he wanted it to sound, but this is what it is. This
is